We're all wearing the same shirt. And it's hot.
You like to take
I
minutes?
remember.
Thank you so much.
Or maybe.
Marty used to teach.
Would you like to do it? I guess I have.
I've taken my share.
Marty.
I think he's taking a
She just walked past them.
Hmm?
She walked past. She
Okay.
didn't stop.
Okay.
Want to search?
They have,
I'm
it.
sorry.
Yeah, they got it online. I think Brian,
Go right on. Well, he kept saying, I know.
Where's-
Live streaming and recording.
you can consider the format. for the
Oh,
minute?
yeah. I can
All right,
send,
he'll take,
yeah.
he'll take care of you. All right, we have pretty big agenda, so let's try to get it done in 60 minutes. All right, welcome to, I don't know.
There.
Yes, we're joined by some.
Martin Sandro.
All right, so welcome to the June 4th, 2024 meeting of the Park Landmarks Cultural Affairs Committee. My name is Neil Barkley and I'm the chair of the committee. Tonight, we're joined by Community Coordinator Brian Lafferty. The meeting is called to order at 6:31 PM. As a reminder, New York State law requires all committee members who are not able to attend the meeting in person to have their cameras on and their first and last names displayed from the time the meeting is called to order until the time the meeting is adjourned. Members of the public who are attending virtually, you can raise any questions or comments that you may have through the Q&A feature of Zoom. Members of the public who are here in person, you can raise any questions that you have by raising your hand. If there's any time following the committee's discussion, we will field questions from the public and you'll be taking minutes. Okay, thank you. You got all that so far?
I did.
All right, thank you. So we will now take attendance. Brian Lafferty will conduct the roll call.
Committee members, I'll call your name. When your name is called, please say present. I will announce if there is a quorum. Neil Barkley,
Present.
thank you. Marty Barrett,
Present.
thank you. Paige Judge,
Present.
thank you. Anton Muller,
Present.
thank you. Reshma Patel is not joining us this evening. Letty Simon,
Present.
thank you. I don't see Mark Thompson.
I think he said he would be on a little later.
Okay, and Sarah Whittington,
Present.
thank you. With 6 of 8 members present, we have a.
Okay, let's see. Keep going. The agenda for tonight's meeting was distributed ahead of time by the board office and is reflected on the screen before you. If there's no objection, we will adopt the agenda. Members of the committee, if you object to adopting the agenda, please raise your hand. All right, no one objects, so the agenda for tonight's meeting is adopted. Minutes from May the 7th, 2024. Meeting minutes were distributed ahead of time by the board office. If there is no objection, we will adopt the minutes as drafted. Members of the committee, if you object to adopting minutes, please raise your hand. All right, no objections. May 7th, 2024 meeting, the minutes from the meeting are adopted and they will soon be available on the CB6 website. And yeah, I guess just setting ground rules, let's have an efficient meeting. Here's some of the ground rules. 1, no one may speak until granted the floor. 2, committee members who are here in person, if you have a question about committee business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand and I will identify you so you can speak. 3, committee members unable to attend in person. If you have a question about committee business, you may raise your hand through Zoom and I will identify you so you can speak. Number 4, all committee members. It is extremely important that only one person speak at a time so the members of the public watching at home can understand what is being said by each committee member. Number 5, the chat function for committee members present via Zoom should not be used for committee business or questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record by raising your hand through Zoom. Chat should only be used to alert us to any technical difficulties you are having or to state in writing information like an email address that was already stated aloud on the record during the meeting. All right, that's it. tonight's agenda, so we can go right to it. Presentation by the Friends of the East River Esplanade on their work and upcoming events. And so we will hear from Ms. Rodriguez. I think the first name would be pronounced. I'm gonna go ahead and try it. Ashanike?
Ashanique.
Ashanique. All
You
right.
can call me Ash for short.
It's a very nice name, so I
So
was
simple.
I was working on it. I was trying. I was thinking, how exactly will I pronounce it? But okay, well, thank you so much for joining us, and the floor is yours.
No problem. So I did submit a presentation. I'm not sure if you guys have it or if I could just share my screen.
We have it, but if you'd like to share your screen, you can
Okay.
do that too.
Okay. So I've made a presentation pretty last minute, but I just wanted to show you guys basically what we have been working on at the Esplanade. Uh, we have been very successful the past few months with our Saturday live music, free crafts, and free ice cream. We have our spring, we call it our spring concert pretty much, and we've had performances from French cooking blues bands. We also just had a performance last Saturday by an all-female salsa orchestra called Lulata Club, and it was amazing. We had over 700 people join us that past Saturday. Very hot, but it was a great turnout. We ran through 700 ice creams. We were partnered with my gym and the craft studio. So we had free arts and crafts and free gymnastics for the smaller kids. And it was a lovely event. A lot of people came out to our Green Park area and pretty much had picnics, brought their own food, and enjoyed the day. So uh, it was just a really great turnout, and we're just hoping that we could continue this and keep it going throughout the summer and fall time. So I just did a quick collage of the other day of the Lulata Club and the turnout. We also just had a yoga on the Esplanade, and we partnered with Iron Strength and HSS. The weather wasn't that great, and surprisingly, we still had over 100 participants. We had about 270 people that signed up, and it was lovely. We have two more coming up before the full time, so we're working with them now to pretty much schedule that. And we're thinking of doing a yoga session in the evening time, like after work, because we have these great new lights. And during the summer, it is pretty hot. So hopefully, we can have maybe two evening sessions of yoga on the Esplanade. We also have a new crochet mural. I'm not sure if you guys like drive down the FDR around 96th Street. Very lovely, very bright. We're trying to create some energy and a nice vibrant gate around the FDR where we have a beautiful artist, Carmen. She has created these murals herself, and she partners with East Harlem Tutorial Program. So they have their students work with her as well. And we have another crochet mural launch actually this Saturday. If anyone is interested, we will have a lot of council members, assembly members, and that will be from 3 to 4 p.m. We're set to meet around 96th Street. So we're going to have a lot more crochet pieces along the FDR, and we've been getting a lot of good feedback on that. So we're really proud and happy to keep this going. Besides the crochet mural launch, we do have our 10th annual benefit at Marceau Restaurant. And We are still looking for sponsors. We're looking for, we still have plenty of tickets left, so we're just really trying to spread the word about that. It's going to be a great event. It's June 18th. It's from 6 to 8 p.m. We will have a Michelin star taco chef serving different gourmet Mexican meals. Also, we will have live bands, salsa. So it's going to be a great night. If anyone would like me to email you guys and send the invite or whatever I can do so we can all spread the word out, that would be amazing. And I just put other ways that you could find us on Instagram, our website, and keep track and keep up to date with what we are planning. We're still coming up with a few events for the summer. They're not set, but we are working on that. We're set to have a few fishing classes with partner with Goodwill and East Harlem Tutorial as well. So we have a lot of good things coming up, and if there's anything that you guys like, any questions that you have for me, I will be happy to answer. This is our benefit invitation for June 18th, and a picture of the lovely architecture on the Esplanade.
Do you have any questions? Okay, and then you can,
Yeah.
Letty?
Yes, first of all, Ashanique, we've communicated, by email. I wanted to welcome you. And
Thank you.
glad, and yeah, I'm with the Sutton Place Parks Conservancy. And I'm on this.
Nice to meet you.
So we communicated by email. I just wanted to welcome you and tell the people where the the boundaries of the Esplanade. I used to deal with Jean Kim. I'm glad to welcome you, and I know you're going to do wonderful things. So thank you for coming to the book to introduce yourself.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I am the new executive director of Friends of the East River Esplanade from 60th to 120th. And I'm excited. This is actually my first presentation, so I was a little nervous, but Thank you. Thank you so much. I have been lucky to meet great people like you guys, and I feel very welcome. I have attended 3 events since working here, and they all have been great. We've had such good feedback, and really the community, they really do love these live music events that we have, and free activities for the kids. It's great for anyone. The kids love it. It's so funny because someone told me that their kid, when they hear the music on Saturdays, they know it's free ice cream. So, yeah, so I guess, we're leaving some kind of mark, which is a good thing.
And the ice cream is all from a la mode, isn't it?
Yes, it's from a la mode.
Most delicious ice cream in the city.
Any idea when the Esplanade between 71st and 74th will be reopened?
I can get back to you guys on that one. I'm not sure, but I could definitely find out and get back to you on that. I don't want to answer that.
The building is up. The building that they were building is up, so.
So I hope soon. You just never know. You never know.
Well, if you shared that information, such as the different events, you could just send it to us, send it to Brian, and then we could put that in the newsletter.
Perfect. Great. That sounds good. Yeah, we have a lot of events lined up. We're just planning a date that works for everyone. So once we have that good to go, I will make an events list and send you guys. I would be happy to send you guys all of the upcoming events.
All right. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
I wondered if you could just confirm for us the boundaries of the Esplanade. I think Letty asked that too. How far south do you go? Does your group cover
60 to 120. 60 to 120.
60? Not.
They're right out of, they're right out of our boundary,
Yeah.
Okay.
but they're close enough,
Yes, thank you, neighbors. Thank you so much.
right?
Yeah, definitely neighbors.
Right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and you can stick around or you can go and enjoy the weather.
I'll stick around. I'll stick around.
All right,
I think we have a couple, hands raised
Okay.
from members of the public.
okay.
First, Maurice Hausner, you have your hand raised. Would you like to speak?
No, I guess not.
Okay, Jennifer, Ratner, you have your hand raised. Would you like to speak?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, hi, how are you? Jennifer Ratner, I'm the board chair and founder of Friends of the East River Esplanade. So thanks, Ash, for that great presentation. And I just want to say that we have actually are in the process of firming up our name change because the boundary will be the new East Midtown Greenway, the whole contiguous waterfront from south all the way up to where it's going to be reinvented in East Harlem. So it'll be the entire contiguous waterway is the goal, to be the advocates for it, the activators behind it, etc. So to answer that question.
I have a question for you. A few months ago.
Yeah, sure.
CV6 passed a resolution to co-name the area between 54th Street and 60th Street, the Lou Sapersky Way, as Mr. Sapersky in 2002, when the outer road drive was being first planned, came to the conclusion that it would be great to keep it so as to continue the waterfront. Would your organization support that or present a resolution in support of it? Because we in fact gave it to the Parks Department and they indicated that it's 3 years after the death of somebody that they consider the naming. Mr. Sapersky died in September. So in about 2.5 years, this will be a live topic again.
So that's really interesting because I actually I did not know that, but I've heard that story. So we're always supportive of that kind of naming. And I know further north, there was a gentleman who was an advocate in the sort of northern part of East Harlem for a park. And we've been trying and we've been signing on to resolutions and basically resolutions of software, like begging to have the park named for him. So certainly that's something we would definitely sign on to. Absolutely.
Yeah,
So I'll find out more, but if you want to send us more about it or
Sure.
the actual resolution, or
sure.
I can probably find it on the website somewhere. So that's great.
Senator Liz Kruger is named in the resolution as well as a supporter.
Yeah,
All
that's
right. Nice seeing you again. Is there anything else? So, all right, well, thank you so much, and you can hang around. And then I would also just add, not a plug for Alamode, but they don't use anything such as nuts, sesame. So it's very, child friendly. So definitely check it out. Letty, where is that? Is that First Ave and 55th?
It's on 55th Street between First Avenue and Second Avenue, closer to First Avenue.
Yeah. So if anyone has allergies, you may want to give it a try. All right, now that I'm done plugging our sponsors, we'll go ahead. We'll go to agenda item number 2, the highlights. Many people would say the highlight of our meeting. Sheena Kaufman from the New York City Department of Parks and Recreation. So it's very nice to have Sheena and Therese Flores here. Officially the best crew in all of Manhattan, and we're not saying this, Commissioner Sue Donahue of Parks and Recreation has said this. So
Hey, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, everyone. So
Good evening.
I just got an email regarding the lights at St. Martin. So let me update you. We did find a problem, and we're working on the solution. DOT is definitely on it. We found out what would happen, and they're looking into it as we speak. We did meet last week, and we found the box that where the wires were cut, but not probably accidentally. I'm not gonna say they did it purposely. And so we just have to get them to restore the lighting there. And Ian, that works with Colleen from DOT, is familiar now with the issue, what's the problem, and he's going to try to resolve it. So he's going to get back to me probably by the end of this week to let me know how long it's going to take to restore the lights back to the 35th Street side of the park. So that's some great news because we found out exactly what happened. Albano is still in the process of being worked on. I did inquire about the Stuyvesant bathrooms because I heard the mayor saying that we are he's gonna increase the bathroom usage and create some more so I asked Steve about the bathrooms for Stuyvesant, and he said it's still being worked on. Hopefully by next year, by sometime, it'll be in design. But he can't promise at this moment. And Albano is still in the works.
Okay. Does anyone have any
That's about
questions?
it. Everything else is fine.
We have a question from Sandy.
I noticed that, it says, the East River Esplanade is still in design, but the design is to be finished in June of this year. Do you know if it has been finished?
I'm not, me, I no longer involved with the East River Esplanade at this on. Robert McLean, I don't know if he's on this call, is quite familiar with that right now. That area has been taken away from me and given to another manager at this moment. So I'm not quite familiar. But I'll send him an email and let him know that you inquire about it.
Therese has her hand, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry,
She may
you're
be-
also, well, I'll let Teresa go, but
Yeah,
also.
I had, so I just got off the phone with Mike McLean. He's actually ill. I'm very sorry. He's going to be hopefully back with us next Friday. He spoke to Steve Simon. He's getting updates for you on the East River Esplanade. And so what we're going to do is pull that together with also just an update on 74th Street. And any openings we might have there, as well as the capital project that's in design. So if there's any other questions, Mike is the regional manager who's taking care of all of the Esplanade. And he is going to bring you back an update from Steve and from Capital regarding those two areas.
If I could just, add to that, but there was, again, a question about the lights. Apparently they're DOT lights. And it sounds like it's a similar problem. If we could get
Yes.
DOT to turn on the lights, it would be fantastic. Thank you.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Bill Doble, and I'm involved with Friends of Albano Park, which so I'm really happy about what's going on in Albano. It's awesome. Everything's going really, really well. It's been like a decade in the making. So it's really nice to see the work being done. So I want to pass that along from some of my friends that helped me there. It's sad that we can't get in there and do some work and save, kind of keep some of the plants happy with some water and things like that. But we know the future's bright there. I came here tonight, and I don't know if this is the right time to talk about this, maybe it's later, but the design kind of shifted at some point, and there really wasn't a public discussion on when the pickleball court got put into the design. And we had several public discussions about the design at the Parks Community Board meetings years ago. And I know COVID like screwed a lot of things up. There was a point where we kind of disengaged because it just kept getting put off because of the issues with the MTA and things like that. And when I found out it was happening again, I wrote a note to Steve Simon. I said, "This is awesome. This is happening. This is great." The design on the website was still the old design. And when the work started, suddenly this new design showed up where there was a pickleball court being involved. I have nothing against pickleball. Nothing. I don't play, but I don't have anything against it. What I do have against it right now, and this is being expressed by a lot of the people in the neighborhood, because they saw the new design put up on the sign there, was it's basically a kid's park, and it has been for decades, and it no longer is on the weekends. It becomes literally a pickleball court, period. That's it. From Saturday at 7 to 7:30 in the morning until Sunday night when the sun goes down. Pickleball, period. That's all it is. The kids and the parents get really frustrated by it. They don't want to stay with their kids because we have to listen to it. And I don't know if you guys have ever sat next to a pickleball court before, but listening to the clickety clack and the cheering and the yelling going on, when that happens at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, it's really not that great for the residents. St. Barton is very different. It's on an avenue, there's no residents right around. I just got back from there with my daughter, doing a little workout. You can barely hear the pickleball on the basketball court next to it because the sound just, it goes away, you know? But at Albano, it echoes. It's terrible. I have a friend who lives in the building behind it, and he's like, I've been in this building for like 50, he's been there for 20 years. And he's like, I don't know what to do about it. And he's talked to other residents in his building and the area. And the design of that area originally started with the who was it? Did somebody say something? I'm totally blanking on the council member's name right now. I can't remember her name.
Rivera? Councilmember
Amy?
Rivera?
No, not the current one, right before her. She was actually on her staff.
Who was before her?
Rosie, yes. So when we started having discussions, it went from, they wanted to put a running track in and we were like, it's not big enough for anything like that. Like, that's useless. So they dumped that. Then they're like, oh, let's put a basketball court in. And we're like, people can go to other places to play basketball. You know, we said noise issues. It's not even big enough. You're gonna have a quarter court. So we listen, just resurface it. The kids come here, they play soccer, they play football, they play catch with their parents. People use the tennis wall. That tennis wall was used all of the time, okay? And the amount of arguments that I witnessed during COVID, when pickleball was there, with people trying to play tennis, including me, were awful. And we tried to solve the problem by painting another pickleball court off of the tennis area. Well, the pickleball people took advantage of that and said, well, there's two courts here. And we're like, yeah, we painted this one so you're not playing tennis, so people could come and play tennis. So it was extremely stressful, and they do not care about the park. I've had like 7 It's My Park days, and they do not care. We're there working our tails off. I'm there watering the park once a week, pretty much from May to like October, you know, watering the park, they don't care. You know, they leave garbage, they make a mess, and they're noisy, and they don't respect the neighborhood, okay? I understand it might be too late to make a change, okay? But if it's possible, I think it's something that should be discussed. And if we can't do that, then I think it's very important for us, as representatives of the community, to come up with some parameters where you can't play before 9 a.m. Even the fire department finally realized that maybe it's a bad idea to test their jaws of life and all their electrical equipment at 8 a.m. on a Saturday or Sunday morning, which I witnessed for years. And I finally went over and I said, guys, what are you doing? Like, could you just wait an hour to like check your circ saw and all, like, because it's noisy. It just reverberates like crazy. So Friends of Albano Park is still active. We are not inactive. I've been doing It's My Park days for 10 years. And Ashley at Partnership for Parks has my number, Steve Simon has, like, I'm out there
Well,
and
so ultimately what you're looking for, I guess, like with the parameters, so we know the pickleball court's there, it's already in the design. But maybe some type of agreement or an understanding that people will not start playing until 9 a.m. We had discussed that.
Did we approve a pickleball?
it was
I don't
never
recall-
approved.
I
I looked at
no,
every
no,
single
no.
minute.
So,
Those-
so,
all the designs come here, I don't recall.
It was
Go ahead,
never,
Sheena, go ahead.
it was never approved.
so,
Looked at
with
every
the,
single meeting
so
for the
what-
last 4 years. Go ahead.
so with the pickleball, the original design had it for basketball. You're right. It did have it for basketball to do. But then, it was decided, because there was a big petition to courts at St. Martin's. And a lot of people in the community came together for the pickleball. So
Yeah, Sheena, you're breaking up
they were
quite a
at
bit.
pickleball, and they really wanted the pickleball to be there.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
So
it's
they
just
really
breaking
wanted
up
the
quite a bit.
pickleball to be at the site. Can you hear me now? I'm trying to.
Maybe turn off your video and we might be able to hear you more clearly.
My video? Oh.
Yeah. I think
Yeah, you
your
could just turn
connection's
it off.
unstable.
Might be a bandwidth
Uh-oh.
issue, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. I don't know how that works.
Click the middle of the screen and the bottom controls pop up, and then click the stop video button on the bottom of the
Okay,
screen.
all
Once you
right.
click the middle, click stop
Okay, hold
video.
on. Uh-oh. I'm trying to see if I can find it.
Should be at the bottom of the screen. Should be like a camera shape. And
Oh, Lord, geez. I'm sorry. Uh-oh, I'm trying to get to it. Let me see. Okay, let me see if I can get, oh, Lord.
Perfect.
So I
I think you did it. You did it. We're hearing you
I did
really
it?
well now. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So in the beginning, there was a basketball court, like everybody's seen on the website. It's a basketball court, but it was a heavy turnout for at St. Martin's where they cut back the pickleball courts there when they resurfaced the turf areas. So a lot of people got together and wanted to add it pickleball to Vincent Alvaro instead of having basketball, because basketball is at Bellevue South as well as at St. Martin's. So it was decided that we added another pickleball court, not 2 courts, but 1 court. And it went over with the people in the community. So because we're already in design of this, right? What we can probably try to do is have the people that's playing pickleball there use a different racket. And that would probably cut down the noise. And I can see if we can have a time. I don't know if we can do that, because then we will have to restrict everyone with all of the pickleball courts with that. So that could be a legal issue that we have to find out. And I'll look into it. I will look into if we can do it for that particular area, or do we have to do it for all of the pickleball sites?
Yeah, maybe just some signage for now. Maybe we could start with some signage, ask permission to do a temporary sign on,
Right,
and
to
just
see how
restrict
that,
hours.
and correct. Let's see how that will work. But pickleball was overwhelmed at Vincent Alvaro. A lot of people wanted it there. They really wanted to get rid of the handball court. And we said, no, we're not going to get rid of the handball court wall. We're going to keep the wall, and we're going to put 1 court there instead of putting basketball. So that was well received by a lot of people in the community.
Good luck.
So let's see how we can, manage this once the park reopens, and see how we can make sure that we make everyone
make the park livable for everyone.
So Vincent Albano is supposed to open again in November, right?
Yeah.
Tentatively scheduled.
Yes.
So the next meeting, the next parks meeting would be in September. Would it be reasonable to maybe have an understanding about the signs? Like, is that possible if we could find out if we could at least try that? I guess like say a pilot, you know.
Right, I'm gonna look into legally, I'm gonna look into if we can do it legally. And that's the first step, because if we can do it legally, then, that's great. That'll work in everyone's kind of favor, right? Because that's what we actually looking for, to make everyone, you know, happy in this particular area. And you're right, St. Barton's is on the corner, and it's not disturbing anyone, and it's not, you know, the noise doesn't really affect anyone. So, well, let's see if that would help. That's something that I'll pitch to our chief, and I'll pitch it to Steve and see if we can get something, if we can put that in writing. I can't promise you that. I'm just gonna see if we can do that.
I might just have to, I'm still trying to just understand how the pickleball court made its way into the design without, because if I had noticed that was gonna happen or was upcoming, or there was a redesign meeting, just like you had, you know, there's always, it's very clear in the agenda, hey, we're gonna talk about this design, whether it's St. Barton, Esplanade, whatever it is. I've kept an eye on those meetings for years to make sure that I don't miss a design meeting. It never came up. So what I'm saying is, pickleball people is anyone a pickleball person here? Because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. They're a little aggressive, okay, in terms of, and there was an older gentleman who has literally played tennis his entire life. He was on the tour. Okay, this guy was a pro. He would get into argument. He would show up at like 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning to play tennis on a wall that he's been playing tennis on for decades. And the kids would just be like, nope, sorry, you can't play here. You know, and one time I was there, I was watering and he was playing, and they're setting up their court, their net while he's still playing. He's like, could you let me finish playing? So working with them is not, comes from years of personal experience with people at Albano. They say first come, first serve. They say if the net is up, you guys can't play tennis. And
that's not so. That's not so. It's gonna be, we're gonna have a little more order.
I wanna say, the last thing you mentioned was that it's on the corner and it doesn't affect anybody. It affects a great deal of people that live around that park. When you're walking up to the park, up Second Avenue, you actually hear it reverberating across from the building across the street.
I didn't say Albano, I said St. Barton's. I didn't.
She said St. Barton when she said the corner.
I never said Albano, I said St. Barton's.
Oh, okay, great, because it sounded like you said Albano. I'm sorry, because your last reference with Albano. So the last thing I was saying, I just want to go back to the first thing I said. It's a kid's park. It's named that area where the new playscape is going, and thank God the fountain's going in. We're so happy about that. That was the first thing we said we wanted, and we got it, so that's awesome. But there's no longer an area like we have at Albano. We don't have it at Bellevue Park South. There's no open space where kids can like kick a soccer ball, throw a football, and enjoy the space in the same way. St. Barton, you know, it's turf now. And I try to go there and I try and hit a volleyball with my daughter sometimes on the weekends. We literally can't do it because there's so many classes going on and so many other sports going on. We can't even fit ourselves into the corner just to pepper for like 15 minutes. It's like my daughter and I are like struggling to find a place. She loves to play volleyball. I can't even hit with her anywhere. So the design thing, is a little upsetting. And I kind of just want to throw the challenge out there. Like, it's not done yet. And it's something that I think should be reconsidered. And it would be wonderful if it could be. I understand if it can't, but I would really love a conversation to happen. Okay, because I understand that a lot of the pickleball courts got taken away. A lot of park space got taken away when they started to do all the work on the East River. Everyone's suffering. I totally get it. But this is a long-term effect to a single park. You put that pickleball court in there, that's gonna be there for a long time. That's not gonna change. And I'm just worried about the issues it's gonna cause with other people in the community that wanna use that park.
Okay, so I.
Thank you so much for listening to me.
Yeah, for sure. So I think, one, we could try the signs, so I think, at least look into that. Another one, we had talked about trying to maybe speak with some of the pickleball players and, people who live in the neighborhood, because it really does sound like, not necessarily, I guess, a compromise, but people understanding each
Yeah.
other. So that I know, the board chair, Sandy McKee, she's talked about that. Sheena has gone out and spoken to people, and that's why she mentioned about maybe a different type of racket. We talked
Yeah.
about, there's I guess I don't wanna say flooring, but, I guess the ground or the asphalt. Mark Thompson looked into, there's different types of designs where it sounds different. So
Yeah.
So we have looked, and in the Parks Department, we've looked, so I think ultimately trying that with, the signs would be a good start. And then possibly if we could get pickleball players and people in the neighborhood to get together, it would probably take a lot of work, but it's going to have to be some type of understanding between
Yeah.
the two. And we're hoping, look, we're being optimistic, but, the options that we really have.
That'd be great. And the only other thing I wanna add is, I'm very, very, very nervous that they're gonna come in and paint lines on the handball courts and take over that area again. Because that's.
But we're not gonna let that happen. We're not gonna let that happen. If we
I
find
got
them, if we find that they're violating that, right, then we'll move for stricter things to take place. But
Right.
let's look at the positive to it. And if we find that they're being aggressive with it, we can always change it around, right?
Right.
So let's look at the positive and let's see how we can make a compromise between everyone. Because District 6 has very little parks and very little space, and everyone is trying to be able to utilize their parks in their neighborhood. And I get it, it's for the pickleball people and it's for the other people that don't play pickleball. So we're gonna try to see what we can do. And if we see that they're being overly aggressive and, confrontational and painting more lines, then we'll step in accordingly. That's when we'll have to get out, reach out to our chiefs and, then, our parks commissioner to be able to address it in a different manner. But first, let's just see how it's going to work out right now to see how we can address it. And I know this is dear to a lot of people's heart, but we're trying to satisfy a little bit of everyone. And I know everyone is not going to be happy with the decisions that it's made, but we're trying to show, that we care about everyone in the community, not just, only children. We want to take care of the older adults as well.
Okay, so Anton,
Yeah, actually, I was gonna bring pickleball up. before-
see? We were waiting to hear you.
Yeah.
Some of my pickleball friends have asked me to look into this. Many of them currently play Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at Constance Baker Motley indoor courts. For the summer, it's being suspended because those indoor spaces are being used by school groups or whatever. Previous years, they would move over to either 21 Sycamore or St. Catherine's Park. And nets would be set up by the Parks Department, set hours, starting in late April, early May. This hasn't been done. Nobody's been setting up anything. There's no supervisor over there. So people, when they have a chance, will bring their own nets. Okay, so this brings to a free-for-all. There are indoor
Well-
courts, let me finish, there are indoor courts at Lenox Hill Community Center. Which many older adults use. In fact, I moderate a discussion group there where they have pickleball courts, but in order to use the pickleball court, you have to go there at 9 o'clock in the morning and register to use it at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And it's just not possible for 70 or 80-year-old person, and there are a lot, is my age group, to go over there, register, go back home, and then come back again. So, not only this is causing a strain on these people who want to play pickleball, and I understand the issues with aggressive pickleball players, particularly up at Carl Schurz Park. But if you're gonna take away the pickleball courts because nobody's there to set them up from the Parks Department and to supervise the people that are playing, you know, to time them, etc. Well, where are they gonna go? Albano, 32nd Street, you know, my wife is not gonna take a bus to go play pickleball. We're living in this neighborhood. We should be able to go 6 blocks, 5 blocks away to do this. And the information we got from Constance Baker Motley is that they don't know when the person who's supposedly setting up these things, apparently is ill, is going to come back, but nobody else has taken the initiative to let these senior players know what's going on. So I don't play anymore, but I can understand that there are frustrations. And they also are frustrated with some of the of going up to, if they have the time, up to Carl Schurz Park or to other areas, because there are, I agree 100%, aggressive pickleball players, especially the ones that go there practically every day. But these are recreational older adults, and they're being also forced not to play pickleball. This is not something that I think we want to see. Parks are for everyone, and they agree, you know. An older adult, 75, 80, 85 years old, hitting a pickleball, it's not going to sound the same as a 26-year-old semi-professional player.
That's what we have at Albana.
Yes.
Marty,
The area by the bridge, the park that's alongside of the bridge between First Avenue and the entrance to
That's
the,
21 Sycamore.
that is 21 Sycamore, and that would be a perfect place for pickleball.
It is,
Yeah.
it is, you know, because it's first, I'm sorry, York Avenue is noisy. And of course, you have on the other side, you have the East River Drive.
I used to live, I used to live at Phipps Plaza West. I was the president of the Tenants Association, and in the 80s, after the buildings came down where Albano Park was, there was many of us who got together and designed the original Albano Park, and it was mainly for kids. And I could not, if I still lived at Phipps, I would have been out of my mind hearing that clack, 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 clack. Because it's surrounded by concrete. I can't imagine a pickleball court being there. You know, it's just, it's mind-boggling how that happened.
Yeah.
It really is.
It keeps I'm serious, the parents leave because they're like, I can't listen to this anymore.
Sure.
So there's no one playing anymore and there's no kids. And that's what upsets us the most is that, you know, the park is, and what happens is when you don't have the families and you don't have the kids, the people that you don't want in the park show up. And that's exactly what's happened. And that creates a whole nother set of problems.
Sure.
And a huge drain on resources, I might add.
There's been a lot of lawsuits around the country when pickleball courts have been put up in these gated communities near the homes.
Yeah.
And people are just going nuts.
Yeah, it's loud.
so what, okay,
So-
so we go,
The question
we'll
I,
go to- just
question
one
I
second.
had. yeah.
Just one second, so we just go, Therese,
Oh, sorry.
Anton, and
Sorry.
then we could be here for a couple weeks talking about
Yeah.
pickleball, it's, you know. I mean, I think if you look at it, it was just a major explosion after COVID, and the New Yorker had an article that said, this is probably a fad. That writer is probably unemployed.
I don't think it's gonna go the way of shuffleboard.
No.
No, I do not see
No,
that.
not when Andre Agassi is pushing it, so, you know.
Therese? You had your hand up?
Yeah, I did. I worked with Catherine Hedden to inform some of her group members who sign up for chat groups that meet up for pickleball, and they have a lot of influence on certain groups. I don't know about Albano, but I could bring this to her attention. Our Commissioner Anthony Perez, when I was down at Sarah Valley Playground, we had to deal with a lot of aggressive pickleball players, and it was very difficult. We did get the signs put up. We did deal with a lot of things that the parents were in conflict for. So if I know exactly, is it just the noise issue that the parents are in conflict with the pickleballers for?
It's just, well, they can't use that side of the park anymore. So the kids
Okay.
show up with, and they wanna play I used to have, it was great. I had these kids that would be there on the weekends in the summer, cause they had nowhere to go. They're like four, it was like this little gang of kids. And they would show up and they would be playing soccer and stuff, and then they would actually come over and I'd have the hose out, and they'd be like, hey, can we
So
help
the
you?
the pickleball players are just there all day and there's no opportunity for anybody else to play anything.
There's no opportunity, and it's just like this, there might be this half hour where one court goes down and another court goes up, but it's you can't live your life like that. To your point, someone goes, oh, we'll be done in 3 hours, and you're like, well, I'm not gonna come back in 3 hours, it's just about going to the what Albano is, going back to that, and I know that I understand that there's limited space, but I was just really surprised that a pickleball court tries to get squeezed into a park that's so small as it is already. That's the one thing that really, they need to take out whole seating
We'll
area.
take this back. I think that we can take this back and talk to Tricia Shimamura, our new borough commissioner. She took over after Anthony left, and this was something that was a decision that was made when Anthony was here. And it was a very tough decision because we needed more spaces for pickleball, and there was already a court there being used, and it was already in line. So it seemed like an existing move to just continue the court as a part of the design. It wasn't a huge design change. It's just painting lines.
Yeah.
So it's
I
just
get that.
repainting the lines that are there. It's not some massive design consideration for us.
So
So
just
we can
because
take
the
this
lines
back
were
as
ruined
comments. I'm
changed
meeting with
somebody's
Tricia tomorrow. I can talk to her about it.
So, okay, just in the interest of time, Anton.
Yeah,
will
sorry,
be
guys,
last.
thank
No,
you.
it's okay, you
Yeah,
wanted to be heard.
I think maybe to get the pressure off some of the other pickleball courts. We need to find out, we need to have somebody supervising courts at either 21 Sycamore and or St. Catherine's, enforcing hours and making sure that people have to be in line to be able to play, rather than, as I've seen, unfortunately, in some places where a group takes over a couple of courts and they keep it for the whole time. And to me, that's not fair. That's aggressive. It's getting like some tennis players I used to play with years ago. And the issue is, though, from the friends who have spoken to me, is that they need some supervision, and somebody has to come from, apparently, Constance Baker Motley, a person to supervise the pickleball courts and set up the nets. Now, I understand a guy named Dave used to do that, but he retired last year sometime. And nobody seems to have taken this forward. So I'd like that to be looked into.
Yeah, we need the funding for it. It's an enforcement issue. It's sometimes, it becomes like tennis. We have a tennis system where you have to have a permit, you have to be a part of the system, you have to sign up through an online thing, and it's heavy. It's a heavy lift when we don't have the resources of people to run it. So you try to appeal to your neighbors first to get them to be reasonable, and then we go from there.
I understand that, but I also understand that there was a gentleman who was doing it, who became ill. And this has happened the last 3 months, and nobody from Constance Baker Motley has replaced him or taken the initiative to ensure that the pickleball courts are set up, the hours, and to make sure that they're fairly distributed amongst the players.
But I think, thank you, everyone, and we will, move on, and so.
Yeah, I
Those are our
appreciate it. I'm actually
plans.
going to meet up with all the guys that helped me at the park. So
Okay, yeah,
I've got to take off. Therese, thank you very much, and Sheena, thank you for everything you guys do, all right?
Okay.
I'll try and
Just
attend a
tell
little bit
them,
more regular.
tell them CB6 sat and listened and
And
allowed you
Brendan-
to express your, yeah, Brendan.
I will, Brendan's been helping us with the illegal dumping
He's
that's
good.
going on.
Okay, he's
It's
good.
been constant for like
And
3
I,
years.
yeah, and
And Sheena knows about it.
and I appreciated that they could follow up on our questions in terms of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we could.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay,
Nice finally meeting all of you.
have a good night. Thank
Take
you so
care.
much. Yeah, we can follow up.
Yeah.
All right, let's see, we now move on to, sorry, that took longer than, expected. So we will have now presentation of, I guess it's a proposal for renovation, at 243 East 48th Street in the Turtle Bay Gardens Historic District. The proposal is to replace windows, resurface the facade, construct a rear addition, alter the rear facade and garden, and add a pickleball court. So, so I don't think anyone's gonna support it, you know.
I'm not taking minutes
Where's the
anymore.
mic for the,
So
For
if you'd like
that.
to come to our podium, we
Really?
have a microphone right there.
area?
Or you
Oh,
could,
it's
if
table
you
that.
prefer to sit
Where
at
would
the
you
table,
sit?
you
wanna
want
sit
to
at the
sit
table?
here.
This is for Democratic. The podium is a little scary. Do you mind if I actually share screen through Zoom
Yeah.
for the
if you prefer to
updated
do it.
presentation?
Yeah. Oh, sure. The one.
Cause I'm in the Zoom, so I'm just gonna share my screen. if that's
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Great. It's essentially the same thing that you all received, so no major differences there. Great. All right, so this is a proposal for a renovation at 243 East 48th. I imagine everyone in this room is fairly familiar with Turtle Bay Historic District. So just starting out with the site, our neighbor just did a renovation a few years back and likely had to go through the same process. So this is our site. We're at the sort of eastern edge of the block on 48th Street. As we know, the designated historic district doesn't run the full block. It's just this kind of half portion that was designated in 66. And you can see our building dashed in red. Part of the, first deep dive when we started this project was a little kind of historical research into the original intention behind the block. And so this was originally constructed in the 1800s, renovated in 1919 by William Lawrence Bottomley. And the major difference here is that this was designed to look like a unified street front with a sort of more continuous facade. And in this text that's great, the book, The Row House Reborn, Architecture and Neighborhoods in New York City, they actually say there's a sort of original quote that talks about the warm limestone color of the facade. And obviously these photos are black and white, so text is super helpful. So warm limestone color, window frames painted in black. And that's us kind of just out of sight. You can tell by the flower box that's projecting out above the first story. And this is a catalog of the streetscape today. You can see that original idea of the uniform facade has been very degraded. And so part of the initiative of doing this restorative work is to bring back that original limestone color to be continuous with our neighbors on the east and the west. So we're doing, restorative work at staff level for the front. So restoring the limestone, upgrading the windows, keeping the 6/6 mullion pattern. There were some AC grates that were added that we're removing. So keeping the original flower box, all the original ironwork, every little detail like the hanging flower book. The thing that hangs a flower pot is staying. So everything's being removed, refurbished, painted black, and reinstalled. So really the thing that we wanted to talk about with you all is the rear facade. And this is a really interesting district because by LPC standards, it's considered a secondary facade, but it's kind of this donut condition where from within the garden, there's this visibility. So we are really no change to the windows other than they're being replaced with double insulated glass with all historically accurate profiles on the upper 2 levels. On the roof, we're adding a stair bulkhead, so there's no occupiable space. It's just the sloped bulkhead for the stair. Right now, there's one of those kind of scary ladders, and adding an iron railing to match the iron railing of the terrace. On the first level, there's these French doors there now. We're keeping the French doors as the main, we're removing everything and replacing the French doors as the main access. And we have, using this there's this language in the house of these narrow side light windows for circulation. So keeping those at the edges for air, but increasing visibility to the garden. And then we have our basement addition, which I'll get to in a minute, which you're seeing below. So it's actually a 10-foot addition in the back. And this is just the excerpt from the Turtle Bay covenant that discusses what's allowed for these additions and for the roof. And so here it's a 10-foot setback, 1 story allowed as an extension in the rear. And this is a block survey kind of cataloging those extensions. You can see them highlighted in red. We're down here, the blue and the dashed red. Our neighbor to the left, to the west, just completed their extension. And it actually has a sloped roof, which we'll see in a minute, which we're matching in our proposal. And so the sloped roof you're seeing here in this sort of gray, that's our neighbor that was just approved. And that's our extension to the left, or sort of in the color. And you have our original plan and the proposed plan below showing that 10-foot setback. Existing and proposed, you can see that we're keeping, so right now there's a Juliet balcony with very simple black iron pickets, which we're using that same language in the new terrace. We think that's a really special element of Turtle Bay in general, all the black iron. So keeping that, keeping the black painted wood, all the windows in this project are wood. There's no metal windows. So wood detailing, keeping the same putty glaze, keeping all of the original details, even in the new windows. So it's all solid wood windows. And we have this kind of new, you can see the 10-foot, that dimension line for the 10-foot setback for the extension there. These are the side lights I was talking about. This is a little image of these narrow side windows pushed all the way to the edge of the building to open for circulation, for air circulation. And this was just interesting. We did, looked at the approved application for our neighbor, which is interesting to look at the expanse of glass on the first floor, look at the slope of the addition, similar proportions. And this was a survey that we did of just looking at the expanse of glass around the garden to see these kind of changes or renovations that people had done to expand a visual relationship to the garden. It's so beautiful back there. You really want to be on that first level and feel like you're part of the garden, to get that fresh air, to be amongst the trees. And so this was a really important catalog for us to do and to try to bring into our project. And this is just, I won't go through in too much detail, but just looking at isolating studies of our addition and our first floor glazing. And I think, again, what's important here is to take the language of the front. It's solid wood, putty glaze, rounded profiles in painted black, just as the original was intended. Same brass hardware, using that real language of the existing front, but bringing it into the new windows. And these are those side lights that are operable on those edges that you can open. And then the last study we did is just taking a look at where there's a grade change in Turtle Bay. Because we are proposing a slight excavation to increase the headroom. The headroom is very, very low when you go into those Turtle Bay apartments. It's 7'6". So part of our proposal is that you actually step down in the rear to get a little bit more headroom in the dining room at the back, and then ultimately step back up to existing grade. So we wanted to study cases where other projects had done the same. And it's just, it's just 6 foot to 10 feet after the back facade, it's down and then it steps back up. So what you're seeing in these oranges are the areas where it's lowered right in front of the building, and then it comes back up to meet the shared garden level. And the bottom right is just showing an image of this brick building here with the arches has a fairly big step down, and because of the garden walls, it's really not noticeable from your neighbors and the garden. So that's also something we wanted to document, just to see what it looks like from the garden. And this is that excavation. So if you see these arrows that say existing garden level, that's the existing garden level, and we are kind of stepping down 1'7" to get that nicer headroom in the dining room. And then there's 8'3" of excavation, and then we slope right back up to the existing garden level. And that is it.
Anything, Sandy?
And I'm sorry, I may have missed, you're the building owner?
Sorry, I'm the design architect. I should have introduced myself. Yeah, I'm the design architect. Our architect of record is on the call as well.
Okay, and I guess, the rear facade, does, Landmarks actually have to approve that, or it's?
Yes.
Really?
And,
Well, they have to approve the project, so it's still considered a secondary facade, so it's not as stringent as a primary facade, but they still do have to approve the overall project, but it has to go through a public hearing.
yeah, and I guess, I just wondered what their comments were with the side lights, because
Yeah.
that's like an interior vocabulary, it doesn't exist on the exterior of the building at all.
Well, it does right now, I guess it's kind of, let me go, I can zoom here. I guess what I'm referring to is this window on the right here, this dark space, it's this skinny, what is it? It's like this. So they're kind of pushed on the edges of the building as these little ways of letting air move through the room. So that's what I meant by side, and it exists in the basement right now. And so it's really lovely when you're inside to have that air circulation, and it's an existing vocabulary. But we've met with Landmarks.
And so what is the material between the windows? Is that solid or is that glazing?
This one?
On the first floor,
On the first, it's glazing.
so it's glazed all the way across,
Yeah, not to the edge of the building, but yes.
so that's a large pane of glass.
Mhm. Yeah.
I just wondered if Landmarks recommended smaller panes or, so.
They were more interested in us documenting other examples. They were curious about what else you could see from the garden, which is partially what led us to do that kind of survey. And they can't really say yes or no. I think that what was interesting to talk to them about was really the profiles, and that it still has this relationship to the original intent of those wood windows, because nowadays you would normally see something that was out of steel. So I think making it out of wood will feel a little bit more true to the spirit.
Maybe I need more education, but I thought if you landmark a building, basically, you look at the front facade. Now, is this visible from the street?
It's not visible from the street, but it's a unique condition, and they don't have, you have to go to a public hearing, so that's really, if this was just what's called staff level work and you didn't need to go to a public hearing, that would be the kind of more standard items, but there are certain elements that trigger the need for a public hearing, so the change of the glazing on the first level, and the excavation, the slight excavation, and so that goes to a public hearing.
Okay. So basically, on the front facade, you're bringing it to what it was X number of years ago and integrating it back into the block as it was originally intended. Okay.
Any work on the roof that's visible from the street?
There's no visible, that's why it's all able to be done at staff level, yeah. There's no visible work on the roof.
So just out of curiosity, what did trigger the public hearing?
It's those items, so, it's the,
Lowering of the.
yes, it's the lowering of the floor. It's the addition, or extension,
It's the addition.
yeah, and the lowering.
Do the neighbors know about this?
Yeah, we've started to sort of engage them. Peter, the owner, is really good about that. Like the day he moved in, he was the tea and cookies neighbor. So it's been, yeah, they know about it, and our neighbor, like I said, just did, that renovation, although now they're selling.
The two houses next door.
I know.
are both for sale
I know.
on the street.
Yeah,
And I did walk past, just, I live very close,
Mm.
but, definitely the building needs some loving care. The
Mm.
windows are in very bad shape.
very bad.
So, I mean, that aspect of it, I think is really beneficial to the.
Yeah.
I'm curious, sorry, you said the neighbors did these, extensions, what do you want to call it? I don't remember that coming through our committee.
It should have.
I
Oh,
can't
it may
speak
have
to that.
been approved before you were on the committee.
It's 3
because
years.
We've had different extent, I'm trying to think, there's a. An allowable extension in the rears in certain areas that we have allowed there. There's a certain number of feet that can be extended in the back of these houses that we've had allowed in the past. We've disallowed at least one extension that they wanted to take it to the property line in the rear.
Bold, very bold.
Yeah, and that was cut back by several feet, but, yeah,
Yeah,
I don't recall the particulars on 48th Street though in the past, but, you know.
and really, I think the reason they make this presentation is because whoever faces the garden may have an opinion. It doesn't seem like there's anyone objecting to the extension. No, and so it seems like viable, and it really may be that the proposal was done pre-pandemic, and uses to. Yeah. Yeah, and my apologies. But
That's
Yeah.
okay, thank you
Thank
for
you, Sandy.
your comments.
Well, thank you for coming in and presenting.
Do we have to have a motion of the
Yeah.
objection?
Yeah, we can, yeah,
Motion, no objection?
Second,
Motion has been, made and seconded. So I will now take a roll call vote. Resolution to be drafted, no objection to a certificate of appropriateness for 243 East 48th Street. When I call your name, please answer in favor, oppose, abstain, or not entitled. Marty Barrett,
I'll approve.
thank you. Page Judge. Well, I see Paige, but
Oh, maybe I have to stop sharing?
I don't hear Paige. If you put,
Yes.
yeah, thank
Let me
you.
try that.
She's voted.
She's there.
I think she's trying to unmute.
Let's see.
Paige, give it the thumbs up if you're okay. How's that?
Yeah, she is.
Okay.
Thank
Very
you.
Double
good.
check me.
Anton Mulliner, thank you. Reshma Patel is not with us. Letty Simon,
In favor,
thank you. Mark Thompson,
In favor.
thank you. Neil Barclay,
in favor.
thank you. Sarah Whittington,
In favor.
thank you. With 7 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstaining, and 0 not entitled. The motion passes. We will need somebody to volunteer to draft the resolution.
Okay. All right, well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
coming.
much. Yeah, I learned a lot about pickleball. So added bonus.
Do you play?
I don't, and now I don't think I ever will.
There's room for a pickleball court back there.
Yeah, that's true. It's a point.
If you, yeah, if you have any pushback at the hearing, if you say, we thought about putting a pickleball, you'd
Yeah.
have 300, 400 people in there. Go right through.
Listen, I don't have the life is short. You can't spend it,
When is the hearing?
the 18th.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you. We're
All right,
very
Thank you for
excited.
coming.
Of course, yeah. Have a good rest of your evening.
Thank you.
You too.
Who wants to draft it? I'm sorry, Marty, I always look at you
I
because
know you always look at.
no, because in my mind, I always remember you saying, I used to teach people.
To write,
How to write.
resolutions, right, sure.
Yeah, that's why I
Mark
was.
raised his hand though, he's so good.
Yeah, I guess we can. When is full board? Next week?
Next
Who
Wednesday.
didn't show up? Richmond?
Oh, yes. Well, that was suggested.
Yeah.
Those who don't show up, can
Absolutely.
write minutes or resolutions.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, you get all the sense of what's going on from your video.
Well, we can ask her and then. I know she's always busy. If she can't do it, then we'll just, we'll look at a previous resolution. We can model it on that and then, go forward.
Neil, if you want to send me an old resolution, which I'm sure I have somewhere, and just this, then I'll presentation.
Well, yeah, I was thinking about that. I was gonna say, well, maybe Mark, I'm sorry, you and Mark, I mean, as soon as something comes up, you guys have great, institutional knowledge, so I think, yeah, Marty or Mark, which one am I gonna ask first? So Mark will help us out. Thank you, Mark. Let's see, what time is it? 7:47. I don't have, there's no new business, no old business. Chair's report. Oh, I'm sorry.
Budget items?
Oh,
Yeah.
goodness. Well, the budget items, I think for that, see, Marty, I always give you credit. I think on the budget items, we had discussed last year about leaving items on because you never know
Right.
when we could get the funding, so 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, who knows? So I think for that, I think our position doesn't change. It's-
I think one of the budget items had repaving of pickleball court. I forgot which.
St. Barton.
I don't know. I didn't remember. I just saw the pickleball. That was enough.
Yeah, right there, pickleball courts at St. Barton.
Oh, that would be, that would continue. Unless Kevin, feels that, doesn't need to be done, but he would have said something.
Therese?
I spoke to Steve and he said that you should put it on your next agenda to discuss whether or not there should be pickleball at Albano. We've done this before at other places. So it's not like it's a huge design consideration. It's just painting lines. So if you want to put a resolution for removing the pickleball court, we'd suggest having a meeting, inviting both sides, and then having a resolution.
Yeah,
That sounds good to me.
good point.
We may need a bigger venue.
Yeah.
Yeah, we may need a bigger venue. Okay, well, that's, I'm sure the gentleman from the public, he wanted to be heard and it was important that, that we did listen to him. So that's something we could discuss then, or at least you have both sides. So I think that's something for, maybe September or like I said, you or Mark, I mean, for both of you, because I think Mark has mentioned this before. Yeah, I'm sorry, Sheena.
I think we just needed to give it a chance. St. Barton's is so overcrowded and it's so congested there, and I understand the people on both sides. I just think we just need to give it a chance. And if it doesn't work out, then, then we can, go to remove. I think, the pickleball people, there's some room for everyone. And the older adults, they would like to somewhere to go. It's very hard and there's no other activities for them to do because most of District 6 is surrounded by baby playgrounds. Right. And there's no room for the adults to do anything. Stuyvesant is big, right? And St. Barton is, geared towards children. So I think we need to consider our older adults, because the playgrounds are closed during the school season from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. And the older adults is not able to go to these places. I just think that we forget that we all gonna get older and we would like to have somewhere to go and go to a park. We don't have the luxury of having a central park or huge parks. I think we really should give this a chance for the pickleball people because there is a lot of older adults that utilize that. And I get everybody.
There's also the noise issue. It's the noise issue, I think, that's like the crux of it.
So is there any room in Bellevue South Park that could be developed for the pickleball?
We would have to take out something.
I think that's,
We
a
would have,
lot of people play basketball there. I think a lot of people, I see people playing. So I think Therese, what she said, that's probably the best idea, is to at least listen to both sides and let's be very optimistic. Maybe they'll come together and reach an agreement. I don't see anyone else nodding their heads, but yeah, I think we should we could try. Sure.
I think if the pickleball people see that it's on the chopping block, they might behave better.
Good point. Yeah.
good point, right? Good point. I just think, we really just need to consider our older adults. That's all I'm saying, think that's important as well.
So yeah, so we can discuss that. We can set that up for September.
Figure a long meeting.
Well, yeah, block off about 6 hours, although Paige told me before you were never around for, our 6 hour meeting.
Oh, we used to have meetings that would go to 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning.
That's what she said.
And then adjourn to the following Wednesday to continue. Oh.
What do you think we could do it for the pickleball one? You think we could,
No.
think we could make it?
No, these are really interesting meetings, and there were some
Those are
fights.
gonna be
They were
interesting
there
and
were
fights.
literal fights. Carol was here. Her husband, who passed away many years ago, he was on the board. He had gotten into fights with people.
Physical?
Well, it was getting close. And we used to be one board member who threatened me a couple of times. Yeah, when I was chair.
There's some people who've been on the board for a while, so I won't ask them.
Yeah.
Who-
No, I don't, nobody who was on this here was here then.
Okay.
No.
So, yeah, that's new business, old business. I don't think anything else. Chair's report. Thank you everyone for supporting the resolution. Yes,
Yeah, I'm not sure if you saw, there's a couple questions
Oh.
in Q&A.
sure. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Do you wanna
Okay.
go through those since?
So, yeah, so it looks like, Alyssa DeVito, looks like Alyssa, she just made the comment that it looks like that she would welcome, the opportunity perhaps to hear both sides. So she's very involved with the park, so I'm sure that she has an informed opinion about the playground and pickleball court. Joan Boyle, she has the question about the scaffolding right there on, Bag Plaza. The fencing. So I don't know, I mean, we have, Sheena and Therese, is there an update on that? Like, when the fencing may be removed?
Sheena, do you want to go or do you want me to go?
From where, the fencing where?
At
Dag
Dag Plaza?
Gamer told.
Oh, yeah, I'm waiting. I emailed them today to see if they had any updates for us. Haven't looked at my phone again, so far, but I emailed them earlier today regarding that. So I'm just looking for an update from them. Hopefully, I mean, Therese, did you get anything?
Well, they have their permit now. I think the building actually has to choose that contractor that put in their permit. And then I think that that's going to cause us to figure out what date we start, and then the fences move.
Okay.
Right
Great.
now, you know, the way the fences are, it's not covering the plant material. Once the fences move, it shades out the plant material with a big shed. So we're kind of at a point where we're like, we want to make sure we do the right thing, and I think the building has to move with this contractor that's got the permit for putting a shed over there so that they can start with a capital project. So it's something that still I think needs to move forward with the building. And then we'll go from there with figuring out how to make sure that, you know, the plant material stays alive, and that we have a way to water. And it's just a lot of coordination going forward, but the building has to make the next move, and that's what we're waiting for.
Okay, we got, this will be the last one. Phyllis has her hand up.
Hi, thank you. So Sheena mentioned that Parks had a meeting with DOT last week, and you talked about the issue at St. Barton's, but we've been trying to get 3 lampposts in Stuyvesant fixed for months now. Parks put in 311 complaints, and we're just going around in circles. Was this addressed at the meeting last week? CB6 had followed up on it, and it was supposed to be addressed at that meeting. So was it discussed why these 3 lampposts are not being fixed?
No, it wasn't discussed. This meeting was strictly about St. Barton's. It took them a long time to address the same, you know, we've been waiting for these lights since November for St. Barton's, and a lot of pressure went out to be able to get this thing resolved. So Stuyvesant wasn't brought up, but we can follow up with Colleen and see if she has any answers for us about Stuyvesant, because we have a lot of emails going back and forth with Colleen about this matter.
About the 3 lampposts in Stuyvesant?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, because
emails that's been generated about the lampposts in Stuyvesant, but this Thursday meeting that I had was strictly for St. Barton's.
Okay, so could somebody follow up, because the 2 in the East Park have been out for over a year. They were Spectrum. Spectrum was maintaining those lampposts because I guess maybe Parks had a contract with them for Wi-Fi in the park. And these 3 lampposts were all being maintained at one point by Spectrum, but it seems that they're no longer being maintained by Spectrum. And, you know, Parks put in paperwork to get them addressed, and nothing's happening. So if somebody could follow up, because, you know, it's a safety issue in the park.
So we can follow up on that. I'm sure Sheena and Therese will. So, okay, like I said, Chair's report. Thank you everyone for supporting the resolution against the 243 resolution that the CEC 2 had, that you know, we oppose that resolution. That's it. Have a great summer. Enjoy. Go to the parks. Go to beaches. Go play pickleball.
Say we're pickleball.
Yeah,
See you in
tournament.
September.
Pickleball tournament. amongst
yeah.
the community board parks committee. All right, that's it. I'm sorry. We went 1 minute and 1 hour and 29 minutes.
Sounds good. Thank you
Take
so
care.
much. Enjoy.
Bye, everyone.
Good night.
Happy summer.
That's a
Good night.
short meeting.
Have a good summer.
Have a great summer, everybody.
Bye. See you in September.
This is a short meeting compared to
Yeah, no.
the bulk. Very
Yeah,
short.
don't worry. The minutes are, you're okay.